Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Keeping It Real Fishing. Hey, what I want to show you is a few things that I got this year. They were new things for me, and upon using them, the duration of the fishing season, I they really work. I guess let's say that. And I have a couple things here. I'll probably make a couple videos of basically what worked. New stuff for me that almost became go-to stuff. And here's item number one. This is from Lake Fork, and this is the frog tail hook, as they have it named, or as I see it on Tackle Warehouse. It's not a huge hook, and I'm not sure exactly what the offset is. It's almost got the shape. If you take away this part of it here and you look at it, it's almost kind of like a hook for wacky rigging, or I guess more like wacky than drop shot. And something's going under the plastic here. There's some interface between the hook and these two. And you can see that those little things there are coiled. And that's it. And you can see the kind of the recurve here. So let me show you on some baits. Show you it works on a lot of baits. So here's a Paycheck transporter frog. And you can see how it installs. You just gotta have to, kind of take these things and pry them out of the way and slide it on. And then once it's on, it kind of just stays right there. This is one of the things I want to show you. Is you could just see how the plastic contacts it. And this is going to be true of most frogs, at least the frogs that I have, particularly the ones that have the little weight here, because it kind of just is another thing to press up against it. And so one of the critical things is when I saw these hooks, I said, well, that's a really good idea, but I'm taking something that's weedless, right? Something that's totally weedless, so you can run it over the thickest of muck, not get hung up. The weight, is going to keep that side down, so you're always going to come across true. And now I'm putting a big exposed hook on the back. So, yeah, my hookup ratios are probably going to go up a little bit, right? But at the expense of getting hung up, grabbing grass, grabbing pads, maybe timber or something like that. And let me just get this out of the way right here, because this is the idea. This is not me just buying it and just hypothesizing. This is me having used it on here, on this guy. So I have a few of those. There's one with it, there's one without it. On full-size coppers. Seeing that one, it actually droops a little bit just by the design of the bait. The plastic doesn't hit it quite as hard, so there it droops a little bit. But it's kind of loose, so when you're pulling it along, it goes up. Anyway, what I was going with is I've used it on these, and these are interchangeable. Like if I felt like putting it on, say like a Bigfoot frog, I ran it on here for a while too. Just take it off and put it on here. Here's the thing. Here's what I want to impart to you. My biggest fear, I guess the catch-22 of more hookups for more time getting fouled up and having to go over to dislodge it, didn't pan out. I casted these lures, guys, thousands of times, and literally a handful. I mean, I didn't keep count, but it was probably on one hand how many times this hook got hung up in something. Now this is really happening on a lot of baits that are, they have the counterweight there. So I'm thinking that's what it is, because just by default, if these lures actually were landing this side down a lot, yeah, I mean, in that first tug before it got a chance to right itself, I probably would have been getting, slop on there. So I think a lot of this has to do with the bait being weighted. But I have to say that having thrown it on something like this, where there is no weight, I didn't experience it either. And like I said, I waited till the season to do something like this because it's not a matter of luck. I got lots and lots of casts in on these frogs, lots of casts, and I wanted to be kind of thorough before I said, yay or nay on this product. And I just didn't get hung up. I mean, a few times more, but literally, I mean, over the course of weeks and months of the fishing season, a few times. So I want to give it a big thumbs up, because for having to go over to this just a handful of times to get this out, the hookup ratio went through the roof. I'm not a good frog fisherman, admittedly. I'm bad. I've been telling myself, trying to condition myself for years to wait, 2 seconds. Give it the 1/1000, 2/1000. Reel up my slack, feel the weight of the fish before I set the hook. And no matter how hard I try, it's like when you get hit on the knee with one of those little things and you get that reaction. Every time I see the splash, my mind is saying wait, and yet there my arms go moving again. I know it sounds ridiculous, like you just have to discipline yourself and not do it, but I just have a hard time. So, and I miss a lot of strikes, I can't even imagine some of the fish that I've missed. It's really sad. So when I saw this, I was like, well, let me try this. And I was just kind of accepting the fact that, all right, you know what, like, I'm going to catch more fish, but it's going to be a headache. Having to keep, I have a canoe. Bringing my canoe over to, through the slop and the pads to have to dislodge this, because I'm sure it's going to get hung up a lot. And, well, guys, that's pretty much the synopsis of this video. This thing works. I don't think it's any particular design of theirs. It's just a hook with the Y on it. I think, like I said, a lot of it has to do with these weights. But having thrown it on multiple baits, almost never, just a handful of times more, did anything get hung up on this hook. However, hookup ratio went way up. So it's one of those things. In my opinion, there's only upsides. I'm sure somebody out there will get it, and first cast they'll probably get hung up on something. But this is coming after throwing it for a few months. Now you can see this one kind of dips, but it really doesn't matter because when things are under the water here, it's just going to push it up. These are full-size coppers, and then here's a good comparison. I like these frogs a lot. These are a short-lived thing. These are from Cabela's. It's called a glass eye frog. It's basically like a Copper's frog. Same details, same ridges and all that. They're real nice, and they're really soft, super soft. I got a review video on these. I like them a lot. I picked them up when I started seeing that they weren't bringing any more in because it was Copper's for like $2.99, basically. Just as soft, just as much detail, at a crazy nice price. So I picked up a few. But anyway, so there's what it looks like with it on one and not on the other. I forget the hook. I think it's a Gamakatsu hook. I'm pretty sure. It is very, very sharp. It's like that sticky sharp. You barely touch it, and it feels like it's almost a glue. It just every time you touch it, it sticks to you. So if you don't get them here, you'll get them here. And here's another one of those same frogs, just different color. I've rocked this hook on all these baits, and like I said, even on this one, whereas it's not sealed up, just kind of floats because of the air being trapped in there. It worked really well on here. It's a soft frog actually, but I figured I'd try it. And I didn't put it on this one, but I'm sure you could. This is a Matsuo frog. I stopped using these because these are really hard. There's very little compression to these. Like the hooks are exposed, which you think would be enough, but I had the worst hookup ratios on these frogs. It's a nice frog too. It's kind of popper, yellow, nice colors. I can never hook up on these. So anyway, guys, that's just again some products that I've been using this year, and this is the first one I want to talk to you about. Is these Lake Fork frog tail hooks. Totally recommend them. I think it's $5 for a pack of 2, but absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it. Your hookups are going to go up. And this is, keeping it real fishing. This is me. I'm just some guy, but my whole premise is to kind of weed through all the bullshit out there in fishing, of which there is tons. And this is no BS. This is just kind of common logic. You're going to get more hookups when you have a big old exposed hook on the back, in addition to these, as opposed to if you just have 2 hooks that a bait needs to be compressed to get exposure. So you are going to get more hookups on this, and if you had the same concern I did about getting hung up, don't. You may get a few, but they are very, very few and far between. So, great option to add to all your frogs. Alright guys, keeping it real fishing. Thanks.